Welcome, beautiful people, to another episode of Creating Consciousness. I am your host, Jesse Singh. This is a podcast where we explore everything from comedy, music, poetry, and creativity in all its art forms. Along the way, I'm going to have some of my friends coming up, different people from different creative avenues, sharing their experiences and their inspirations. And this has been another different variation of the same intro, but whatever, bro. We're flowing. We're doing the thing. So, and today's guest for the podcast, man, this is a very good friend of mine, and I'm very excited to have him here because he's also the owner, the creator of the Corner Comedy Club. He's been a friend, a mentor, and he's here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Tuccitto. Yeah, fuck yeah. Thank you for coming, brother.
Hey,
appreciate it, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and like I started off by saying, man, Corner Comedy Club, probably arguably one of the best clubs in the city, bro, if not the best. One of my favorites, definitely, to perform in. And if you guys have never been there, it's like a small space, intimate setting for comedy, which I think is the best because it's like, it sets the vibe, sets the tone. But just tell the people, like, even for myself, bro, like, how did it come into fruition? Where did the idea of the club actually spark from?
Oh man, because it's I've told the story so many times, yeah. And every time you tell it, you try to like condense it a little bit because it's a tale. Yeah, you know what I mean. If you really want to know everything leading up to it and all the working pieces, there's a lot to be said. But to rephrase or to say the question again, just how did it come about? The idea.
Yeah, the idea. Maybe like
honestly, it came about while I was listening to a podcast.
Oh shit!
Yeah, which is funny because we're doing a podcast right now.
Do you remember what the podcast was or what like sparked it?
Yeah, it was a episode of Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah,
I hopped on the podcast train as a fan when they first came out, so I got to see a lot of the biggest podcasts out there right now. Episode 1, episode 10. You know what I mean? And it was during a Joe Rogan podcast, and the topic had something to do with being the hero of your own story. And he had this like little monologue speech where he ranted for about a few minutes about, to be a hero and to live the life you want to live. I can't rephrase the whole thing, but it was popular enough that somebody actually chopped it up and put it on YouTube. So it's like one of those like clips that you can hear. It's inspirational, say what you will. But at that time, I was going through a hard time in my life, and it just struck me. And I started thinking about the job I was doing, how it wasn't making me happy. The life that I had in front of me was not the way I had pictured it, even though like a lot of the pieces were there. Yeah, I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. Yeah. So I was at a crossroads in my life where I had an opportunity to kind of like shake things up. And hearing that during that podcast just gave me this idea. It's like, why not work in the comedy field? So that's how it started.
That's dope, bro. Were you a fan of comedy before that?
Like, I've always been a fan of comedy.
Yeah.
I was like, ever since I learned how to laugh, that's all I ever wanted to do is recreate it, at family events and all that. It's like, the similar story you hear a lot of comedians say.
Yeah. Like the whole class clown type.
Yeah, I was always going to see the comedy movie at the theater. Yeah, always a fan of comedy. At one point, I wanted to be a comedic actor when I was like a teenager. And then, so when that idea came, when I'm listening to the podcast, I was like, then right after the thought was, well, how? What's your position? You want to be a comedian? Yeah. You want to be a manager? You want to be, and then for me, the thing that made the most sense was why not have your own club?
Did you have, because I'm always curious about that, because like, I feel like the business side of comedy is way different, like in a sense, like you have to have like some kind of understanding of like just obviously how to run a business, right?
Yeah, sure.
All of that shit, bro. I don't know any of that. I'm slowly learning as an artist. But was that background something you kind of had a knowledge in and you're like, I'm just going to translate this? Or was it like literally you had to learn all that?
No, I didn't have any business background at all. So I was a construction worker for 13 years.
And then this was literally like, you're like, I'm just going to self-teach my shit along the way.
Yeah. I didn't see it as like something that difficult to achieve. I was just own your own comedy club. Yeah. So yeah, I had to learn so many things along the way, obviously by making a lot of mistakes too.
Of course.
But, it goes to show that like, it doesn't matter what you're trying to achieve, what you've learned from before, who you are in this present moment, is not, you know, a limitation to what you can get done.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it has to do with being okay, like, you know, admitting that you don't know what you're doing, asking questions and, you know, for help. The bright idea that I got was about 13, 14 years ago. I started a podcast.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I would have continued it
Yeah,
from back then, because it would definitely will have grown into something.
Into something else.
As with all things, I think, right? But in that podcast, the whole purpose of it was just to interview comedians, producers, club owners. So I was kind of like doing this, hey, here's my podcast, here's my show. It's all like comedy orientated and marijuana orientated at the time. And I just literally used it as an excuse to pick everyone's brain. So if I was interviewing you as a comedian on my podcast, I'd be like, hey man, so what makes the perfect comedy club for you? Hey man, in your experience, like, what does the pay rates work like? You know, what do you expect when you go to a show with this? And what's your favorite kind of lighting? And what's your vibe? And so I was literally asking every question I wanted to know.
And you're learning from the people that are entrenched in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Without letting them know that's why I was asking. I mean, maybe it's a little malicious. And
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. It's not devious to like kind of like, you know, take advantage of somebody or anything.
Well,
No, it's just like, hey, I just want an interview on my show. But really my intention behind it was to figure out everything I needed to know.
Well, also, if anything, I think like the way I would see that is that like someone is giving you the tools to bring that idea to life, right? Like if they're not going to do it and it doesn't exist, you're bringing it into like a physical form, you know? So I think that's dope.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. There's lots of components before something actually takes
comes
shape,
into
right?
fruition.
Yeah.
So, but I was also curious about this because I don't think I've ever asked you this, but where did the name come from? Why the corner?
Oh, the name. Yeah, I love the name. And
bro, I love the name.
Honestly,
the logos.
Yeah.
Dope.
Like it sounds hard.
Yeah.
You know, the corner. You know,
yeah.
it's like it's strong. For me, it's like a timeless name. You know, but it was inspired by the location, the original location. Which
I remember that spot, yeah.
And I'll get to it here. Let me get to it. I'm jumping ahead in my mind. I'm not even present with my own words. Okay. The first location, how I found it is a kind of a cool story too. It was a friend that I made in the construction world years before. I bumped into him years later. And when we were, you know, reaccounting what our lives had, you know, what had taken place in our lives in the past 5 years, this guy had become a family man with kids, has a home. Me, on the other hand, I'm talking about how I lost my home, I got divorced.
Yeah.
But this cool thing is I've had this idea to open a comedy club. And he just randomly told me about how his family has a property downtown and they're looking for a new tenant and they think it would be a really great location for a thing like a comedy club.
That's crazy. So it just kind of aligned.
Yeah, I had some other name for the comedy club in my head prior, like a few kind of different things. Oh, maybe I'll call it this, maybe I'll call it that. And then when I went to go visit him to see the location, I was like, dude, we're at Speaker's Corner.
Yeah.
And if you're not from Toronto or if you're listening and you don't know, the cross section or intersection of Queen and John Street, downtown Toronto, used to be like the hub of all media in the entire country. You know, what Yonge and Dundas is now, to me, growing up a kid born in the 80s, growing up in the 90s, Queen and John had this feeling like of Times Square for Toronto.
Yeah.
And there used to be a booth there called Speaker's Corner where you could, this was before YouTube, you can put like a $1 or $2 in a machine and they'll record you for 2 minutes. You could just speak your mind in this little like video booth.
That's crazy. I didn't even know about
You didn't know this?
I didn't know that's
okay, so you're learning
before.
something.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, bro.
Right on the corner of Queen and John, right? You can go into this booth, pay $2, record yourself for 2 minutes, and then there was a television show that aired nationally on City TV.
Yeah.
And the best of the best recordings would just get aired, and they'd segment
Holy shit,
the show into like, hey, politics, and there'd be like 4 or 5 videos of people expressing political opinion. Then they talk about love, and there'd be like a guy and a girl, and a guy's like proposing to his girlfriend on live TV.
That's pretty sick.
So this is before YouTube, and you could imagine for anybody who's not famous, the opportunity to be on TV before internet was a thing. It was like, yeah, I'll pay $2 for that chance.
also so accessible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anybody. Actually, I talked to a guy who used to be a video editor for Much Music.
Yeah.
And he used to edit the videos for those Speakers Corners videos.
Yeah.
And he said some of the things that he saw on that stuff. Yeah, people were having sex up in there. People were smoking crack up in there, recording it, doing all kinds of shit, right? Because it was self-managed, right?
Yeah.
There was nobody there.
Bro, also, that's kind of fucking ambitious. If you're a crackhead, you barely have money, so you pay...
Pay $2 to smoke crack on TV.
Yeah, you already spent the money on the crack and then now the Speaker's Corner.
That's a wild story, though, right?
That is crazy.
So anyway, it was called Speaker's Corner, and here I am standing at this building, this potential space from my dream comedy club.
Yeah.
And it just clicked. I was like, well, Speaker's Corner essentially was named Speaker's Corner after a place in England.
Yeah.
And Speaker's Corner was a place in a park where people would throw down like a soapbox. You know what that is?
No.
It was like a crate that they used to transport soap in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair
But
enough.
it was sturdy, right? And
Yeah,
it stood about like, I don't know, a foot and a half off the ground.
Yeah.
So they literally just throw down a soapbox and then roll up a piece of paper cone, like a megaphone. And it was a place where people would, at Speaker's Corner in England, I don't want to get quoted on what city in England, people would stand on this soapbox and just, hey, here's the problem with the world today. Don't you
And
find
just
that
talk.
it's weird? Yeah, often it was politically charged.
Yeah.
But it was representing a platform where free speech was not only allowed but encouraged, because we need to hear from the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's hearing the stuff in the news, and so for me it was all making sense, right? Here's this place called Speaker's Corner, dedicated to the concept of free speech.
Yeah.
The comedy that I loved and what really attracted me back into the comedy industry was, pushing the boundaries, saying what needs to be said, and also just saying whatever you want to say for jokes and not getting ridiculed for it.
Yeah.
So it made sense. Right away when I saw it, I was like, the corner. This is the corner.
That's fire, bro.
And then it just sounds classic and stuff. The unfortunate part is that having to move after the pandemic, we're no longer at that corner.
Corner, yeah.
But it was a question, like, I didn't want to have to rebrand the whole thing.
No,
the Alley Comedy
And if
Club,
anything, I'm glad you didn't, bro.
No, me too. It already had a ring to it. And in essence, it's like a 2-minute walk from that intersection. So it still has it.
Yeah.
It's still all there, right?
I mean, but also I think what's beautiful about the name itself is that, like, even without knowing the origin story, people can have a connotation to it. Like, for me, when I heard the corner, I heard of like as a kid, like just being on the corner, like being on the street.
There's so many.
Yeah, you're like talking shit with your friends. It's like that to me was like, and like you said, right? It's like it's a place where even just the ambiance of it, the fact that like you feel safe saying the most heinous shit.
Yeah,
right? You know
it's
what I mean?
accepted.
Because, yeah, and it's tucked away. It's like you know what this is going to be, right?
Yeah, you're going down an alleyway into a basement to a comedy club. It's dark. There's red lights. It's like, you should understand that like people are gonna say things.
Yeah.
And it's called a comedy club, right?
Yeah.
This is all for jokes.
Yeah.
A friend of mine recently like wrote something or released a clip talking about if you're someone who chose to go into the comedy industry, you're kind of giving up your right to get offended.
You have to.
At words and stuff like that. Like you're in the wrong place, right?
Yeah.
It's a bold statement. It's very what's the word I'm looking for? Just like you can't argue it kind of thing, but it does make sense.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you in this place? It's, Dan, one of the, regulars at the room, Dan Gyrie, he used to run a show there and he used to use the slogan, a safe place for dangerous ideas.
Yeah.
Because when I opened up the club, that was the beginning of all this safe room stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I remember that too, bro.
it happened right when I was opening the club. So it was so weird because I'm opening the doors with this like kick-ass, rock and roll attitude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like stick it to the man. Let's do it. And boom, the year that I opened, like we have like MeToo, all this like cancel culture. We have, what else was going on there? Bruce Jenner's on a magazine and it's like everyone's talking about this transgender debate and there's like so much stuff going on. I'm like, hold on, we're not all on the same page.
Yeah.
This world's getting screwy, man.
Yeah. Bro, but what's crazy is that like it's weird that people would like use the term safe space, because that to me is what a safe space is.
Yeah,
like,
where anything can happen.
And it's not just the fact that like the club was solely for people that were trying to be edgy and shit. It was open to all kind of comedy. Like if you came to a show, you would see everything.
Well, yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
and I think the vibe of the place and the reputation, it created itself. Yeah, I had a vision for how I wanted things to go and the overall like feeling that I was trying to give through advertising and branding, like what you're supposed to feel when you come to a place like this. But as for the comedy that happened inside and that reputation, and that was all organic.
Yeah.
Because, you know, what a lot of people don't realize is when you open up a comedy club, you obviously, nobody's going to open up a comedy club if they don't have a pool of comedians they can draw from.
Yeah, 100%.
To start booking and performing there, first and foremost, right? I obtained that by producing and promoting shows for a couple of years prior to opening the club.
Got you.
But what I wasn't ready for was all of the faces that would become pouring in that I had never met with this desire to try comedy or be a comedian. And furthermore, a lot of the pool that I wanted to draw from to initiate the club, call it a roster, call it what you will, were unavailable due to commitments with other industry leaders and other clubs in the city, which I wasn't prepared for. I didn't know that was a thing. So long story short, the people kind of like created the reputation of the corner because they came, the comedians I'm talking about, you know, the JJs, Chays, Ryans, and, you know, and they came and did their thing and it worked and they were hungry and they wanted more and they were willing to, you know, ask and find out how they could, you know, be more involved, while other people who had their own specific brands of comedy were just never engaging, never asking, never requesting, not present. So for me as a one-man show trying to run a club, I'm just like so overwhelmed with, you know, pretty much joy at that time that there's all these people that see my vision and want to be a part of it. So I'm like, you want to help make this something? Yeah, of course, more stage time. Yeah, so then you start seeing the people getting booked. It's just like that was all an organic process that I could have never, you know, created on my own or imagined.
You touched on something that was like super important that I always commended about the space too, was that like there are a lot of spaces in the scene that are very gatekeepy, and I found like this was one space where it was like it didn't really do that. Like it did open the door for people, and it wasn't like, oh, if you perform here, you can't perform no one else. Like, you know, that was never a thing. You know what I mean? Which is like, which also to me as a concept is crazy, because it's like you would want your talent to get better, which means they have to perform everywhere, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the argument, it caused me so much frustration over the years about like why it is the way it is, you know, within the industry, and how, you know, the rapport that, you know, comedians have with bookers and agents, and it's very easy for anyone to see all the things that are wrong with something. And then I could sit here and like, you know, reiterate the points that you're making and agree with this and give my opinions. But what I've just learned to do for myself is just kind of like accept it for what it is. Yeah. Because it was so funny. I was talking to a common friend of ours in the alleyway before a show not too long ago. And the topic of, you know, which comics can and can't play the corner came up. And I started seeing myself fall into the normal routine of, oh, this point, you know, and that point, and why not this? And I stopped myself for the first time. I looked at him and I go, you know what? I want to sit here and talk about how it's all messed up and it doesn't work and it's not right. But hold on. For 10 years, this place has been kicking. For 10 years, their places have been kicking. And it's been working for everyone. So maybe it is right. Maybe it's just fine the way it is.
100%.
But this brain here sees it a different way, and now I can't have some peace in my life over something I really have no control over anyway, right?
Yeah. No, I see that, bro.
So I'm just happy for what it is.
100%.
When people come to me and say they can't play the club, you know, try not to get, you know, personally offended by it anymore, which I used to. I used to attach some sort of, what the hell? What's wrong with me? And I'm going like, oh, Joe, this has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You know, learning that the hard way over time, right?
So you kind of mentioned this already, but like the ambiance of the place. Obviously, it's like, well, the new location. It's an alleyway, red lights. It has like that. You know, it's a smaller space. Was that purposeful? Like, was that something that you envisioned in your mind? Like, this is what I want the club to look like, or did that just happen as a byproduct of what you saw?
Well, the first club that I opened up in its original location,
The Speaker's Corner one.
yeah. So that's a combination of, you know, building it the way I saw it in my mind, but obviously that's going to change because I had a vision. Like, I could sit in my bedroom and imagine what my club was going to be like. I did. I would draw fake blueprints for it. You know, I would walk through it in my mind, you know, and I had it looking a very certain way. But then you find the space and you're like, well, this is the shape of the space, so I got to make it work in here.
To accommodate it, yeah.
So the first club was more me.
Got you.
Because I gutted a rectangular box.
Yeah.
Imagine standing inside of a shipping container or the trailer for a tractor trailer semi truck, right? That's the shape of the club, right? A container like that. I stripped it to the bare walls, and I got to pick everything, where the bathroom goes, the hallway, the entrance. You know, that was my vision, every last little bit. It was a mix of how I want it to be, plus my budget and what I can find online and, you know, lighting fixtures, all this stuff. But by the time it was done, I was like very satisfied.
Yeah.
Like extremely satisfied. I was like, this looks so cool, man.
Bro, that spot was incredible. Like, I remember even like, it was like definitely like how you explained it, because you couldn't even have more than like 10 guys in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like a closet, man.
Yeah.
And when I look at it now, to imagine that we would stuff like 30, 40 people in there at times, I can't even see how we did it.
Yeah.
Well, we did, and it got us to where we are. So as for the decor and the ambiance of the current club, that's more of another organic process because I ended up obtaining a second location. And that had some decor in it already from a friend of mine who used to own a bar prior. And so the current club is like a mix of a lot of the elements and decor and feeling that we had in the other three locations.
100%.
Because post-COVID, you know, you shut the door on what seems to be the entire business. Then I got this opportunity to find this fourth location. I snagged the opportunity because the business worked so long as I was allowed to operate. And we just found this new space, and I said to myself, how am I going to make all this stuff work in this new space? And it just came together like that.
Yeah. Bro, and like that's one thing I will say is that, like, because I've been to the other two clubs. I never went to the Niagara one. But I remember going to the East End and the original one at Queen and John. And like, even though this space is bigger than that one, it has the same feel. Like you could tell it's like the corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I love.
If you have
like,
been to the corner, coming into the new space, even if it was the first time, you'd be like, it still feels like corner.
It's still the corner.
Yeah. Just because even of the alleyway and entering it through a back door and everything. Sure. Yeah.
Even the ambiance of it, I thought it was dope, bro. So like with that in mind though, like I know you said you've always been a fan of comedy, you've been around it. Why? Like, this is the part that I always get curious about. What was the inspiration to like start this comedy club but not want to do stand up?
Oh, honestly, when I first, in that moment when I was talking about earlier, when I got inspired listening to a podcast, maybe I can own my own comedy club. How cool would that be? That's like what the thought was, right? Yeah. In that moment, I had always wanted to be famous. I always wanted to be an actor. I always wanted to be a stand-up or a John Candy or Jim Carrey kind of guy, you know? I always thought that. But at the time when I got struck with this inspiration, you know what was the first thought that came to my head? It was like, well, you're obviously too old to start trying to be a comedian now.
Wow.
Yeah, and I believe that. I was just like,
holy shit.
Yeah, because I was like 30. Yeah. And in my head, I was like, this fucking dude, you passed the window. It would have been cool if you started when you were 20 and like. I just thought it was too late. I mean, you come to find like people start doing stand up at 40 and become famous in a couple years.
100%.
But so I did perform stand up when I knew I wanted to open a club, And the theory behind that was, how can I try to sell stand-up if I don't know what it takes to go up there first? And it was also a cool way to meet a lot of comedians.
100%.
And also learn more about how you get booked and everything, right?
Yeah.
So I did stand-up for about a year, open mics. I got booked on a couple shows. But one thing I knew for certain, how? I don't know, but inside I knew I have to pick a lane.
Yeah.
It was like, do you want to be a stand-up comedian or do you want to own a club? I mean, I could have tried to do both, but, I've learned from many comedians, that they don't like performing at a club that's, owned by one of the comedians. I don't know in all cases. I don't want to judge good or bad either way, but you know what I mean? So people do appreciate that I'm not a club owner who's trying to get 5 minutes on a hot crowd. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thrill of performing is something that I do like.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe there's like a place for me in the future.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it would be in like a stand-up kind of thing. Talking, acting. I don't know, something like that. But, I'm like 43 now. If something like that comes to my life where I have an opportunity, I'll probably be happy to kind of do it. But right now I'm really happy just where I'm at with the club.
100%.
Playing my part in it all, right?
Yeah.
Because it's still just as exciting.
And you're still part of it.
Yeah.
Part of the community.
Yeah, and I think I got something very special with a lot of the comics that play the corners, especially from what I hear after talking to them, is like everyone treats me like I'm one of the comics.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
What are you doing next weekend, Joe? You want to come out and stuff? So it's like, it doesn't feel like a boss-employee relationship with anyone at the club. There's a couple comics that conduct themselves as I'm an employee or I'm, a contractor right now.
Yeah.
Let's have that business professional relationship. And that's cool too, but I don't know. The comics make me feel like one of the comics. So it's like, I'm just a comic who's not going on stage.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I think that's also a testament to the community aspect you built. Because I think there was a lot of other things outside of that, like especially during COVID, where like a lot of artists were having a tough time. You know what I mean? There was no stage time, but you still had like those community gatherings here and there.
Yeah. I'm happy to say that. Yeah, for sure.
And it allowed a space for people to still have the self-expression, which I thought was dope.
Yeah, just to clarify, during the lockdowns, I would, whatever comedians wanted to, meet up and not abide by all these fucking rules.
Yeah.
I would just tell them, hey man, we're just gonna have a hangout. We're just
bro.
Just to chat and hang
just
out.
Talk. Yeah.
Yeah, we would like watch like a UFC or a sports match, go and hang out, talk, smoke weed, whatever.
Yeah.
So, if that makes you mad and you're one of those COVID people, I really don't care. That's fine.
Fuck.
Yeah, because we had a community, man.
Yeah.
And then you find out you have like, hold on, I have 12, 15 other friends that think something weird's going on and they want to hang out. Yeah, let's hang out here.
Yeah, it was such a fucking crazy
Yeah, it felt like a little clubhouse.
Yeah.
COVID clubhouse.
100%. And so like what kind of backtracking a bit, like with the whole comedy aspect of it. And I kind of said this before too. What I loved, and I think we spoke about this once, where like when you're curating lineups for the show, that's very much like thought out. Like you like look at it and you're like, oh, if I put this person on, I think this would be a good fit. Like you have an idea of who do you think would put together for a good show.
Yeah.
What do you look for as a producer? Like what does that entail? Like what do you, when you're putting together a lineup, when you're putting comics on for the night, like what are you looking for? What do you think would make a good show?
Yeah, and I'll just say it in a general sense.
Yeah.
You need a really good host.
Yeah.
The host is like so important.
100%.
Probably the most important role in a show.
Yeah.
How a show starts and feeling like you're in good hands and welcome and like no surprises are coming. These are all the things that like a host provides. So I'm always looking at who's gonna carry the torch for the show.
Yeah.
And then next thing that goes through my head is strong closer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So those are the first two things. And then in all honesty, when you're booking shows with only 4 people on the lineup, I mean, aside from that, it could be anybody in between. Yeah. But there are certain things that go through my mind, like, keeping a healthy rotation for people who frequent the club, seeing different lineups. Another thing that crosses my mind is who works well with each other, not to the point where I'm like, you know, catering to people's like friends groups or, you know, too concerned about like, you know, gossip or tribulations between comics. But, you know,
play off each other well.
You know, I try to put my feet in the shoes of the comic, and it's like, if I'm the comic and I look at a lineup, am I going to be like, yo, I can't wait to do that show?
Yeah.
So I do think of that.
Yeah.
It's not like I said, in a general sense with all this stuff. And then it's just the next thing is like, you got to have a mix, right?
Yeah.
Of comedic style. And, you know, when I say a mix, it has nothing to do with the color of someone's skin.
No.
All right? It has everything to do with the style of comedy.
Yeah.
You know, the host has a host job. The strong closer could be whatever style they are. You got a strong close. But is there going to be something that's like fun and light here?
Yeah.
Is there going to be something that's like really fast and fast paced? Is there going to be that real meta guy, you know, who like everything's slow and like brainy comedy?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I want a variety in that sense.
Yeah.
What's another thing? Another really important thing that runs through my mind is the audience that we draw.
Yeah.
You know, we have every walk of life from the age of 18 to 60, 70, couples, you know, girl gangs, boys night out. We got people that can pass from my mom and dad coming in. You know what I mean? From that generation, boomers, you know what I mean? Things like that. So I also want to think of like everybody in the room.
Are they like, are they going to find someone in that lineup where they're like, I can relate to
Yeah. So it's like a little bit of a mix of trying to like please the audience and also maintaining of like, hey, yeah, we are a business that wants to please every guest that comes, but we're also doing something here that we want to maintain our integrity to the point where it's like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It's a mix. So those are most of the things that run through my head. You know?
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, and you know, for any comic who might listen to this too, it's like, and this is just applies to me, but I wouldn't be surprised if it applies to many other bookers out there, and helping in that pursuit of getting stage time and opportunities. Is just showing face, man.
Yeah.
And showing face, like, I'm just a single guy. I don't have a team of workers behind me, like bookers, scouters, and things like that. But people who are around, recognizable, and just have this a good attitude about them.
Yeah.
You know, those people get opportunities, right? You can send all the emails and clips of yourself killing it you want, but nothing's going to replace a handshake and, like,
of course,
you know, and a good energy when you see the person. You're like, oh, that guy really wants something. They're working on it. So, you know.
Yeah, because especially given the fact that you're like looking through like almost like 300 names. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of mouths you're trying to feed and a lot of opportunity you're trying to spread around. But, you know, if you're a comedian, just think of it like this. I'm a stranger to you and I send you an email.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, you might open it and read the first couple sentences. You see some link to like a clip or all your credits or stuff. It's like I'm bombarded right away by like probably something AI wrote these days, right?
Yeah, realistically, for sure.
And I see this name, John Smith, okay?
Yeah.
But if 2 weeks ago some guy came up to me at the club and say, hey, man, are you the booker? Oh, my name's John Smith, man. I just moved to the city. It's like, yeah, I love this place, man. Yeah. Is it cool if I come by, or how does it work here?
Yeah.
And then a week or two later, I got the same email from John Smith. I'm like, oh, I remember that guy. And it was like,
what up?
Yeah, I could just say like, oh, put a face to the name. That really goes a long way. You know?
Definitely, bro. Yeah, those are some great tips. And I think like, it's funny you mentioned that, because I think even as like someone, I'm like nowhere like I would say in my career where I would hope to be, but I'm working my way there obviously. But like getting to a position where I'm headlining and stuff, I remember going to newer cities and feeling like, fuck, bro, I gotta start from ground zero, or I gotta run through the circuit again and shit. And it's like, to your point though, you forget is that like they don't know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't just base it off of like, I send an email, I have all these credits, how come I'm not getting booked? It's like, yeah, they legit, no one's seen you before, right? So it's like sometimes even that little bit, like you said, goes a long way. Like just showing up, showing face, like, hey, how's it going? And, you know, just being willing to participate, like keeping the ego aside a bit.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I try to summarize it with one word, and it's so weird because it's very vague. But when I say like a good attitude,
yeah,
You know, it's like, just how are you conducting yourself? I don't mean like attitude like rude or attitude like super friendly. I just mean attitude like, how are you positioning yourself?
Yeah.
How are you positioning yourself, orientating yourself in this scenario, right?
Yeah.
You know, it speaks wonders.
Yeah.
And it becomes a thing
100%.
where it's like you're speaking a language without words with people,
Yeah.
you know? People say a lot of things.
Yeah.
You
And so kind of like going off of that, like obviously with the talent that you've booked and like, you know, all the comics in Toronto you've seen, you mentioned this before as like, you know, you went to other shows, you've been also across like you've been to the States as well to watch comedy.
Yeah. Like as many comedy clubs I can go and just study.
Yeah. How would you say comedians in Toronto differ, or like what separates comedians in Toronto from like other parts of the world?
Well, I only have a partial perspective on that.
Yeah.
And then most of it would probably just come from like hearsay or whatever, and it's just repeating a lot of things I've kind of heard and, you know, overheard. But some of the things that come to mind right now are, you know, Toronto seems to be kind of like a farm team.
What do you mean by that?
It's like, you know, like you got the Maple Leafs and then you got the Marlies.
Oh, yeah.
The Marlies, the farm team, right?
Yeah.
Or the AHL, like they got the guys coming up, you know, keeping them playing because when we need them, we're gonna bring them up a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
I mean? But there's so many good talent. So like, I heard that before, and I kind of see that Toronto is just like rich pool of like comedic talent, and it's just seems to be a place, from what I hear, that you can get a lot more stage time.
For sure.
You know, it's a great place to
hone your craft.
Yeah, hone in on your craft.
Yeah.
As far as comedians and their attitude and like how they like go on about it, I don't know. I would just be guessing if I try to say like, oh, they're not appreciative, or you know what I mean. And I don't want to take one single account with anyone, and generalize it like that. But for the most part, you know, it seemed to be happy.
Yeah.
Another thing I noticed too is, you know, that sense of like that impending sense of doom that like I've been here for 5 to 10 years now. I need to go to the States.
Yeah.
And that's something that ever since I first heard it, I was like, dude, what makes you think you have to go to the States? There's a fucking internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know, listen, whether it's you need to or it's right or wrong, which way to go, it's at the end of the day, if you're someone who wants to go and do comedy in the U.S., go and do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it means that you can't have a career in comedy if you stay in Toronto.
Yeah.
You know, we have enough people here, and there's enough, you know, ways to set up a year of gigging and connections here where you can earn for yourself.
And we've seen people do it.
I've seen people do it. I've seen people do it to the point where it's like, it seems like they're just like earning like a, you know, blue collar worker's wages in life. And I've seen people like do really big things on the TV and internet and stay here in Toronto, you know? So that whole argument is like something that I really noticed in the Toronto scene too.
Yeah. Like I think I had this conversation with someone, which is like, I think it depends on what your goal of it is, right? Like if you have like a path to where you want to go, you just have to understand where that path is going to lead you. Like, you know, like me and Dante talked about the whole influence of social media, Instagram, TikTok, how it affected stand-up comedy. And I used to be one of those guys where it was like, bro, like I want to stay true to the art form. I don't want to fucking put on a wig and do the song and dance and shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But then
for the views, for the clicks.
Yeah, for the clicks and like feed the algorithm. But then it was like, but like, yeah, you don't have to do that, but you also don't have to be mad at people that are doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Just
of course.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that comes into place where you almost feel this sense of like moral high ground because you're not doing it, or like, you know, and that took like some self-reflection where it was like, bro, but who cares? Like, they're just doing what they want. If I can get to a position where I can do stand-up and live comfortably, like I'm not even, my vision isn't even the fame part. It's just like getting to a point where it's like, yo, I can support a family. I can take care of myself just from doing this. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
You know, and it might just take longer to get there.
Well, I don't know, man. Like when you talk about things like goals and like, you know, be where I want to be.
Gotcha.
You know, like when I start hearing stuff like that, it's like, oh, man, I don't know what's the feeling? I don't think it's not even a feeling. It's just, for me, it's, I've learned the hard way that it's not about the goals.
The end.
Yeah, because it's just never gonna be exactly how you think it is or what you want.
Right. Yeah.
And then even if you obtain it, it's like it's a very temporary moment of like happiness,
Yeah.
and then it just like goes away. And
How
now
would
anything you're just thinking like, fuck, I gotta be doing something else.
how would you rephrase it?
What?
Like what would like the wording of it? Like rather than saying where I want to be.
Oh, no, I think it's just more or less not about what you said or being a problem with how you say it. It's just what it's kind of making me think about. Like,
Yeah.
it's like everyone's going for something in this industry, right?
Yeah.
But it's like I don't even know if individually they really even know what they want.
Yeah, that's facts.
And a lot of the time you see people having certain successes and stuff, and it's like that doesn't really, to me, it doesn't equate to happiness or peace or anything anymore, right?
100%.
And that's just for me as something I've learned. But like, there's no better place to be than where you are right now, right? Like, I've had this thought like so many times. I remember one time like I was rolling around the U.S. with a couple comics. Okay, we're like vacationing, just having a like fun trip, with friends, and we're driving from L.A. to Texas, and the two friends are comedians and they're grinding and everything. And then I'm not. I'm just kind of there for the fun, right?
Yeah, just
I have the club.
there for the hang.
Yeah, I'm just there for like vacation mode. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
The two guys are talking about, getting a spot here and how to connect with that because we're going to Austin, right? So they're still on the grind while we're on this trip, but like I'm just chilling. And then I remember saying it. It's funny because it can make so much sense to you, but I don't know if you're not ready to accept it or understand it, then it doesn't matter what I say.
Yeah.
But I was just like, so hold on. So you want to be famous, right? Yeah. Okay. So you got enough money to, is it just about the money? No, it's not just about the money. Okay. So you want to be known, but you want to be able, when you are in this place where you're famous and you've made it, let's call it, right? What do you want in life when you get to that place? Have you ever thought about that? Like, what are the things that you want to be able to do in life as a result because you made it?
Got you. Yeah.
Do you want to be able to like, not worry about how much some food costs when you go and sit down at a restaurant on a menu and just order whatever you want? Yeah, I don't want to. But do you do that now? No, I don't. Oh, okay. So do you want to just be able to like not have to work for someone else? Do you want to just be able to literally decide what you bring to the table when you go to work? Do you want to be able to be on a vacation with your friends whenever you want?
Yeah.
And it's just like, what I'm getting at is like all these things that this person wanted as a result of making it and being famous, you're already doing
They're
it.
doing it right now.
You're already doing it all.
Yeah.
You don't have a boss. Like you're free. Like you have everything you want without the recognition.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing, right? It's so fucking weird to me.
No, that's dope, bro. Crazy thing is that like, I think sometimes there's points where I dip in and out of that. Like I think there's an awareness piece that is that like I'm able to tap into that allows me to understand that. And then there's moments where it's like, it shifts like day to day where it's like, fuck, but I need to like if it's like something happens where it's like expense pops up you don't know of and it's like fuck now I wish I had something. I wish I made it to this point.
Yeah.
But to your point, I think it's like bringing yourself back to where you were, right? Or like to that knowing space. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with awareness.
Yeah.
You have to be aware, right?
Yeah.
But like most people aren't even aware where they are.
Yeah.
Like I would spend an entire day awake, not even aware of where I am for the whole
100%.
day.
Yeah.
Because I'm driving here, right?
Yeah.
My head is where am I parking?
Yeah.
I'm not where my own 2 feet are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, traditionally, as of late, things have been a bit different for me personally. But the last time I was in this place, right? I was doing another podcast with some friends. My head was like, what do I have to say next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always somewhere else. So it's like when you really, wake up to the fact that you're like where you are, you start to realize that there's nothing wrong, right?
Yeah.
And there's like really nothing missing.
Yeah.
You got it all right now, right?
100%.
And so then you make a goal, and now, okay, from this point to the point where I succeed in achieving my goal, say it's 4, 5 years, however long it is, it could be a week.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go and spend the next week completely lost in my head, trying to get everything done to get to this place, right?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like such a waste of time.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And, to just like be able to not have it to be any certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's the big one, man.
Yeah.
You don't, it doesn't have to be a certain way. It always seems to be like we want things to be, we like the stencil, but if it was just like that, or just like, it's by our own personal standards, it's like it's never complete. Nothing is ever complete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just starting to get away from, so I'm bringing this up largely because at the beginning of this year, I told myself, as far as the club and even on a personal level, I just want to have 1 year where I don't have any goals whatsoever.
You just do.
Yeah, just get up and do what you got to do that day, and see where it takes you. Like, I've gotten you get your life to a point where it's in order. You got your finances in order, you got your routine in order. So instead of coming up with like, man, this is the year that I'm gonna do this. This is the year that I'm going to have this much in my account, or I'm gonna learn this new skill or language, or I'm gonna start this new podcast, or I'm gonna start this new clip series or anything. And just for 1 year, man, I just want to not have any goal whatsoever and just see how things play out, And for me, it's just been very useful to just kind of not be bothered by like, other people's drama, and plus also the drama that I got going on in my own head about how I think my life should be, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, please.
So do you ever find yourself in times where like you feel like you're just like a fish swimming upstream?
Like I'm going against the current.
Yeah, like it's like I need to get I'm at point A, I need to get to point B, but the whole process of getting to point B is just like, oh, like every step, like maybe, how can I visualize it? Like, you're on a road and that just happens to be the day you're catching every red light, or there's another car and it's causing you to wait. Like, you ever get to these moments in life where everything just feels like stress, pressure, hard? I don't know. For me, I feel like anytime you find yourself in those kind of situations, you're trying way too hard to make things go your way.
Yeah.
You're trying to carry out your own will for your life, your own self-will for your life, how you think should go. And no wonder it just feels like this blockade. It's like, I think of like a scene from Truman Show where he's trying to escape the movie set.
Yeah.
Because he's like, something's up here. And then he's going down roads that have no ending.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, there's like some accident on the road. Oh, man. So it's like, you keep coming to these things, that kind of just, and I don't know, man, sometimes I feel it in subtle ways, but I ask myself, if I was supposed to just go home tonight, like, here's my normal routine, but I got myself thinking, you know what, I want to go and see what my boys are up to, because the party sounds live, and I want to go and, I want to get lit, and maybe that girl's going to be there, let's say, right? I go against the routine, the natural flow of my life, to go to this place, and those are the times that I'm hitting traffic. Those are the times that things are stressing me out, or something is wrong going with my car, or the bus is late, or something like that. And it's like this like difficult thing. But when I look at all the times in my life where I'm just going with the natural ebb and flow of the day to day, traffic isn't bugging me.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I'm not late for anything.
Yeah.
There's still time. I'm early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I try to use it as a rule of thumb and try to be aware of it. And it's like, oh, well, no wonder it has to be your way right now.
Yeah.
Instead of just, I'm already in everything I chose right now.
Yeah. Bro,
Like, you chose all this.
Yeah.
You know, you're here right now. If you feel comfortable, bored, tired, it doesn't matter. You want it. You pick this right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
But sometimes you got to be able to just, even when it's hard, when you see a friend or someone that you care about and they're like down and out and in the
struggling,
you know, they got a cloud over their head everywhere they're walking and they're telling you about it and stuff. It's even, yo, dude, you're like that because you want to be. You have to realize, you know, you want to be sad. It's not about what happened to you, you know? Yeah. And I know there's someone that will just hear that and be like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
You don't know what happened to me.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
No, I definitely, bro, I agree. I agree with that concept a lot because I do feel like we create our own suffering for sure. Like I started this practice recently where it's like you wake up and it's not journaling. You just write down every thought that comes to your head. Like you just write it down, everything. Like even like what you just said, like, well, I'm bored right now. I'm fucking this, that. And like I did it for like almost like a week straight. And I realized I was having the same thought that was like upsetting me. You know what I mean?
But your practice was revealing it to you?
It was revealing it to me, and it was also the feeling of like I saw myself having the thought, then getting upset at myself for having the thought as I'm writing it. And it's like, then literally halfway through writing it, I would write a sentence, be like, I could just not do that. Like, you know what I mean? You just don't need to do it.
Yeah.
But
maybe a little bit of light came in.
Yeah. And but my question to that was, there was a book that you referenced a while ago, War of Art. And in the book, they mentioned something about when you're pursuing a passion or when you're living in alignment towards something that you feel like is in alignment with you. Not necessarily a goal, but you're just swimming downstream, as you would say. There's going to be an equal amount of resistance.
Oh, yeah. The book taught about anything that an individual does that will result or lead towards the development of that person's soul.
Yes.
They will feel an equal amount of resistance trying to stop it. It's like the law, like of, you know.
Just universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I want to go and learn a new language. Okay, I got to do my homework. It's going to take me an hour. I'm going to go and smoke a joint first. Yeah. There's that resistance to just go in and start the thing that's actually beneficial to you.
Yeah.
But the thing that's like there to destroy, it's just easy, man.
Yeah.
The extra bag of chips, the extra joint, the sex with the ex-girlfriend, you know what I mean? Spending your money on bullshit or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that stuff, you know, so that's what they talked about. So I think the book talked about the only way to overcome it is just to do, like to get up and do it on every day, regardless.
Yeah. Of what your feelings are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, because this was coming, it was a great book, you know, like it was very illuminating for anybody probably on a creative endeavor. So a lot of the stuff that I learned from it has changed for me personally. You know, when you start learning and growing, like, you know, everything serves its purpose.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, the way to combat that would be like from the writer's point of view. He says, as a writer, I just knew I had to write. So I get up. I don't have an office I'm going into. I'm creating my own job. Remember, you're the comedian. You punch into your clock, right? So if you want to wake up without an alarm, 11:30 one day, 10:30 another day, you know, figuring out trying to remember what you did last night. Yeah. You know, you're your own boss, so you have to discipline yourself, right? So he said he would just go every morning and like 8 a.m., hit the clock and just start writing. Yeah. And he wouldn't stop until 11. And then he knew it was his break. He'd go for a smoke, get a snack. You know, he treated it like a job. Yeah. And it didn't matter what he wrote and what it was leading to. All he knew is that he beat resistance for a day. Yeah. You know, so that was that reference there.
Bro, that's how I felt about the podcast. Because I think what you were mentioning before about like having a vision for it, I had that for a while. Like I always knew I wanted to do something like this on the platform scale, but I was like eating myself away at like trying to find a venue, putting it together. Like, how do I start this thing? And like, I was stressing about it to the point where like it, like what you said, all of these factors felt like they were working against me. I couldn't figure it out. And then one day I was just like, bro, fuck it. Like, I know I have the idea. It's going to happen when it happens. And I would just write down interviews or topics I wanted to discuss for fun, like things that I would just set aside the time, even if I didn't have a studio or didn't start anything. I'm like, I'm just gonna write it for the day that it might come into fruition. And then it just so happened to align where I connected with Dante. We found a space, and it just kind of came into fruition, and we're doing it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, kind of pivoting, well, along the same lines, like this mindset that you're in now, or like your awareness and like where it's grown. You know, you talked openly a lot about before about like your journey through sobriety and things like that.
Yeah.
When you were in that state, or when you were going through those challenges, like, how did you? I guess what was the pivotal moment where you said, "Yo, something has to change. Like, I have to get out of this shit."
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. It's like something along the lines of, I don't want to live like this anymore.
Yeah.
And I can't stop.
Yeah.
And I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I need help.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't like my life. I don't want to live like this anymore, but I can't do anything about it, but I need help.
Yeah.
It's essentially that, you know, insert whatever your affliction is into it, right?
Yeah.
You get all kinds of people like in my, you know, walk into trying to like, you know, learn how to be sober. And I just say it like that because when I was 14, I started doing hard drugs.
Yeah.
Rave culture.
Yeah.
You know, like chemical drugs. So I was just like playing and trying for my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, and it got a little out of hand. And I'll be honest, I don't know if like sometimes like, you know, you can say, oh, COVID was fucking bullshit and like, oh, how could they do that to us? But in this whole world, or like those comics aren't allowed to play here. Yeah. That's not fair. But you start to look backwards and you're like, well, thank God it was like that, because it offered an opportunity for this to happen in my life.
100%.
Because if the COVID thing didn't happen, I wouldn't have been able to be alone long enough to realize that how I'm living my life is fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's essentially, you know, I don't like this anymore. I can't do anything about it. I need help. So you ask for help. And, you know, everyone has a different journey. You know, if you would ask me when I first got into it, you know, you would have asked me a year ago, I'd be like, oh, this is what you should do. And this is that. I don't know anymore. Your story is your story. But I do know that, you know, you can't help yourself.
Yes.
Nobody can.
Yeah.
I know that. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help yourself. You can go and try to make the life that you think is going to please you. You can't make yourself happy. And, you know, you'll be fortunate enough to meet people who point you back to where you can get the help, you know, or you run around in circles for a while trying to figure it out, you know, and some people don't figure it out, and, you know, it's unfortunate, but I don't really think I don't feel sad or happy for people anymore. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm just talking kind of cryptically right now.
No. I think I'm following what you're saying. I think it's more so like you're understanding that, one, like, and this is what I learned too, at least what, like, working at, you know, with young people and youth. A lot of them are struggling with addictions as well. But the worst thing that, like, I've seen other people do is try to pity their situation. It's like, there's a difference, I think, between like empathizing with someone's situation and, like you said, feeling sad for them, or like feeling like, oh, it's a happy breakthrough. It's like the journey of that I've seen them go through, especially with sobriety, is one that it's not linear, right? Like, they're going to go in and out of like states of like, you know, things are getting better and then reality hits, or like, I need to rely on this crutch again. So it's more so about like seeing like what you can do along that journey with them, right? Or like being a pillar of support. At least that's how I saw it. I don't know if I'm reiterating the same thing.
So you're in a position where you have an opportunity to help people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's tough too, right? Because it's like I said, the only people that really helped me at all were the ones that made me realize that they can't help me.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I mean. I think it's more so giving someone the ownership of it while being a pillar when they're down and out. It's like, it's a reminder of like, yo, I can't get you out of it, but like if you fall.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird, right? Because like I got this. I'll be honest with what's going on in my head right now. It's like I got this like war in my head where it's just like, Joe, be humble and don't try to like sound like a know-it-all. And another voice is just like you know what you understand. Why not share it? You know what I mean? But
share it, bro,
I don't want to like come across as like anything. So pause.
Yeah.
So the reason why anybody's not happy or the reason why anybody does drugs or anything is because they're angry.
Yeah.
That's it. They're angry and afraid.
Yeah.
Right? And when you start to really fully understand that the only reason why I'm resorting to temporary relief of my present situation is because I'm either angry or afraid. And then when you fully understand that, you start to realize, where did my anger and fear come from? Then when you can identify where your anger and fear came from, then you know, oh, that's where it came from. So it's not mine.
Yeah.
And I can drop it.
Yeah.
But, you know, my experience taught me that the only way it can be dropped is through forgiveness.
Right.
And forgiveness, not saying, I'm sorry or asking for another person for forgiveness, but more so for fully comprehending and understanding that I'm the one who's wrong for being angry.
Gotcha.
Regardless of how you made me angry. You know, a lot of the time it happened when you're a little kid, you're innocent, you know, what did you do to deserve it? But you're responsible for what you do with it as an adult 30 years later, right? With the things that happen to you. So when you can realize that you're truly wrong for being angry and understanding what anger is and where fear comes from, and it's a very dark, dark place. There's no light in it whatsoever, right? And when you can realize that that's what's controlling your mind and your life, well, the only thing left is to want to not, to get out of it. And by forgiving, you can get out of it. And by living into the light of each present moment, you can walk through every day without any concern about your life or any worry whatsoever about what's supposed to take place, because you start to realize that, man, I'm really not in control of anything.
Yeah.
You know, and I've spent my whole life trying to control other people and trying to control my life.
Yeah.
But there's no love whatsoever in control.
Absolutely.
You would never try to control somebody that you love.
Yeah.
But people do it all the time.
Yeah.
And they call it love.
Yeah.
Right? You say, stand up straight, tuck in your shirt. Why? Because I want you to look proper. I don't feel good in this way. But the world will think you're an idiot. Stand up tall, tuck in your shirt, stand up straight. That's control.
No.
But someone will say, no, it's discipline, it's love. I want the best for my child or something like that. You know what I mean? No, love is just let the kid figure it out.
Yeah.
And be someone that, you know, they're comfortable coming to seek guidance from. You know what I mean? It's like, and so when you take this element of control, you go, well, if I don't feel good right now, and I know that if I do this drug here, I will feel good. And the confidence that I don't have currently to go and approach the girl or call up my gang of friends and initiate a hang, it will come when I'm in this state of high, let's call it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and try to control the way I feel by using other people and things.
Yeah.
right? And I start to realize that all those people and things involved, I actually hate them.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm trying to control, I actually hate myself. And you realize where hate comes from.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite of good.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, what do I want to be ruled by in my life? You know? So, you know, you may have heard it, especially if you're talking about consciousness. And I know you've always been the type of guy to lean towards, like, you know, spiritual teachings and stuff. We've had great conversations in the past.
Yeah.
Is this whole concept of letting go.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's layers to it, and thinking you understand what it means to let go of your life. But I'm still learning on a daily basis, you know, and one way I could kind of like conceptualize it is like, you know, if I sit in a meditative stance, you know, preparing myself to meditate, you say you can relax your shoulders, you know, and they go through these, like, you know, it's guidance of your hands and lighten up this. And it's almost every single time I do it, I can do everything in my control with my mind over my body to become in the most relaxed state. And then someone can say, now relax your tongue in your mouth. And I realize I've been holding on to that too. So I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, where there's like a sinking where you can let go of even that muscle there. Yeah. And it's like, when you think you've let go, you're always holding it's, and you know, when you've been taught your whole life to live your life habitually in that state of mind of thinking that your like reality is like that, then it's very hard to break from it, right? And then, you know, you're still going to go back to it into these, like, you know, these things. I wish I didn't do that yesterday. Fuck, why did I have that extra one? Or fuck, I didn't call, and I knew I could have done that extra push up. And it's constantly, you know, it's just constantly chasing, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I think like the whole thing with sobriety is just knowing that there is a way out.
Yeah.
That's like the only real thing I can offer, like, as hard, you know, if anything's going to scream out to you, is like, there is a way out of, and it's not just an addiction, it's just out of living the life where you do not have peace. Yeah. You know, you can have peace. Anybody, it's just like waiting for you. You know what I mean? And it's not dependent on anything. Yeah. Absolutely anything.
Thank you for sharing that, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's right there, whether you want it or not. You know what I mean? It's like, there's this thing happening right now. Yeah. And it's always ever present. And it's just a matter, you want to hop on it and be a part of it. Yeah. Or do you want to be lost in your imagination? Because when you're not where you are and you're thinking about what you got, you're literally playing in the devil's playground, man. Mm-hmm. When I'm trying to figure out what it's going to look like an hour from now, I'm in the devil's fucking playground. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's an imaginary, non-existent place, and reality is not happening there. Yeah. It's happening right here in this room, you know?
I had a follow-up question.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I started ranting.
No, bro. I loved it. I was going to say, I had a follow-up question about, like, when we talk about, like, the facing the darkness, or, like, having to go to that place of fear and seeing where it's coming from, right? The anger, the fear, or the suffering even. How is that different, or how would you say that's a different journey than when we choose to create our own suffering? Like, because obviously we've created our suffering, we relied on the addiction and things like that, but now to have to go journey to the point of, like, learning where that despair comes from, and, like, the dark night of the soul, if you will, having to go through that and see it for what it is, only to come out to the other side to where the light is.
So how does that differ from the suffering part?
How do you know what the difference is? How would you know where the difference is?
So how do I know what the difference is between getting to that place because of suffering and getting to that place through what?
How would you know when it's you going through the suffering because it's a part of you getting to the light, like having to go through the fear and withstand and like see your anger and fear head on, versus when is it when are we creating our own suffering through the rumination, through, you know, resistance and things of that nature? Does that question make sense?
My response is we're always creating our own suffering.
Okay.
I don't know if that answers your question, but like all discontent or unsatisfaction is a result of belief in the narrative in your mind.
Yeah.
Like anger, unhappiness, worry, jealousy, every crappy feeling word you can think of is just another word to describe the opposite of peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and it only comes because you're more in belief and you're more sure about the thoughts in your head than what's actually just happening outside of you or around you.
Yeah. You're attached to that image.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it seems like I even went and saw a guy talk last week. His name's Eckhart Tolle. He wrote a book called The Power of Now.
Yeah.
I saw him talk, and one of the things that he talked about was there seems to be this like sense, or this like, in almost all cases of people that he even works with, there seems to be this underlying fact that in almost all cases, the only people who ever really get to wake up are those who have gone through terrible suffering. And he even said, like, it's almost like a shame that it's that way, but it's like one of those things where, listen, if your life is just comfortable enough, you're never gonna ask outside of like your normal, you know, construct of your like day to day.
Yeah.
And even this sounds kind of weird because I'm trying to like figure out how other people think, which is another form of crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's no time like the present, man.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, we all have stuff that we need to let go of.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of figuring out what it is, you know? It's like getting over this idea of like, I have the right idea of how my life is supposed to go.
Yeah.
Because even me being in a comedy club is a result of my life going not how I wanted it to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I could sit here like think about the last 10 years and how fruitful and joyful and, you know, fortunate I've been to meet all these people and break away from the life that I had before. Like that was all a result of terrible depression, terrible sadness, and life not going the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, the life I had pictured for myself was pretty cookie cutter, you know, 9 to 5, blue collar worker, own a home, white picket fence, dog, kids, cottage, you know?
Yeah.
And that wasn't the life that was, you know, for me. But if you asked me like 5 years before it all came crumbling down, I'd be like, no, dude, I got this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even now I ask myself, what part of my life is like, am I not getting to experience right now because I'm stuck in, you know, Joe's way still?
Yeah.
You know, how much more, you know, is out there for us to receive when we just let it come to us? You know, but but we got to be able to get past questions of like, well, when, at what point, it's taking too long, things like that, right? Those really tax you from like, you know, the process or whatever. Yeah.
Thank you for that, bro. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, first of all, again, thank you for the talk. We're kind of pivoting away from that, and we're going to our last segment, which is multiple choice questions. So,
okay, I love shit like this. A great way to switch the vibe. Yeah.
But bro, even the vibe, bro, I enjoyed obviously listening to you. We've always had great conversations. I wish I fucking could ask you more, but I also think you would enjoy these. So but these are multiple choice questions I've curated myself. So they're going to get increasingly more ridiculous.
Okay. Nice.
The first question's pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. Favorite Mafia movie? These are your options. A, Goodfellas.
Okay.
B, The Godfather Part 1. C, A Bronx Tale. D, Casino. Or E, your honorable mention, one that I didn't state.
Oh, like if I have one?
Yeah.
I'll just say Goodfellas.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Bro,
Goodfellas.
I would love Goodfellas, dude.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
It's a good one.
The third question. This is a scenario question. A comedian comes to the Corner Comedy Club on an open mic night. It's their first time performing. They've never performed. However, they begin to bomb, but as they're bombing, they not only immediately turn on the audience and get angry at them, they begin to cry. But
Go. So what's the question?
People begin to walk because they feel uncomfortable seeing a grown person crying on stage. These are your following options. A, do you let them cook and let them play out the rest of their time? B, do you tell them to wrap it up? C, have other comics roast them after they're done crying? Or D, start a booing chant?
I would probably say let them run their time. If they got 2 minutes on the clock, I'll be like,
Just let them cry.
But I'll get the buzzer ready if they go overtime in that situation. They don't get to finish your joke because there's
Yeah. No, they're not even telling jokes anymore. They're just crying.
No, just watch it.
Okay.
Until the time's up.
Yeah, okay. This one. You're on a date with a beautiful woman. This is your fourth date. You guys have been hitting it off. Things have been going great. You decide to take her to one of your favorite Italian restaurants. She orders a spaghetti and meatballs. Nothing crazy.
It's just funny how you're saying it.
Yeah.
Go. I'm in.
However, halfway through your dinner, you guys are enjoying your time, but she proceeds to pull out a bottle of ranch dressing from her purse. She smothers the ranch dressing over the spaghetti. The server comes around asking if you guys would like fresh Parmesan, to which she replies, "No thanks, I brought my own," and pulls out a tub of Philadelphia cream cheese and rubs that on onto her spaghetti and meatballs. Do you A, leave the date without any explanation? B, order more food and leave her with the bill? C, educate her on why the ranch dressing was blasphemous and why your nonna would be upset? Or D, it's not that serious.
It's kind of like what was A again? A was
leave her without any explanation. You kind of ghost her.
Yeah, I would walk up. I would go to the waiter.
Yeah.
I'd give him like $100 for whatever was there, and I'd say, in 5 minutes, go tell that lady over there that the guy had to leave.
Oh, but you would pay the bill.
Yeah, I would give the money to the waiter.
So yeah,
and I tell that girl over there, you're really sorry, but your date had to leave in about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, dope. All right, this is the last one. You are part of a modern day organized crime group. However, your kingpin was just assassinated, and you have to appoint a new leader. Who are you choosing? A, Hal from A Space Odyssey, the AI thing.
Oh, yeah.
B, Joe Pesci, but it's Joe Pesci from Home Alone. He's the burglar. C, Thanos, but he has no superpowers. Or D, Robert De Niro as the bus driver from A Bronx Tale. So he's the same guy. He drives a bus and he's a dad.
No, I'm picking Thanos without the wacky infinity.
But no
gems.
Superpowers though.
No superpower, but he's a big guy, bro. He's a big guy. He can slap a guy around.
He's a big guy.
I'll bring envelopes to a guy like that.
I want to also point out that Thanos did whoop Hulk's ass, no stones.
There you go. Bro.
Oh fuck, did he?
He didn't even need the stones, bro.
Fuck, bro. I should have told someone else besides Thanos. Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro were a dumb pick. I don't know why.
There's also a mobster Hulk. There was mobster Hulk.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What was the other option there too?
Hal from Space Odyssey.
Oh, Hal's pretty sick. Option.
Hal is crazy.
Yeah, and then but Hal's up to no good. Bro.
Yeah. Hal was fucked, dude.
Like, I thought we were friends, Dave. Remember that shit?
Yeah, you actually put me onto that, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, that's the end of the pod, man. We went an hour and 20. Thank you, bro. Fuck yeah. But also,
that was fucking awesome.
Let the people know where they can find you, bro.
Oh, you can find me at the Corner Comedy Club. like the actual location.
Yeah.
You probably won't find me online, but go to thecornercomedyclub.com for showtimes, listings, tickets. You can go to Instagram at The Corner Comedy Club, and you can check up lineups for when Jesse's going to be on, because he's in the rotation heavy at The Corner.
Okay.
He's been there for a while, and we're always happy to have him there.
Thank you, bro. And you can follow me at the Punjabi Timbit or at Creating Consciousness 905. This has been Jesse and Joe. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Peace and love.